Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers, including Peter Berryman, John Robertson, Brandon Trano, and IndyCar World Champion Alex Palou. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome along as we return for round 9 and the season finale at Knockhill of the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship, live and exclusive here on Apex Racing TV. The circuit, it was a realisation of a local farmer and motorbike fan, Tom Kennard, who travelled frequently and regularly to events across the country but dreamed of being able to see motorsport a little closer to home. On his farmland lay the ideal solution. Several service roads and a disused railway line seemed to offer a good layout for racing. Fast forward to today, and it's still Scotland's only permanent racing facility and has cemented itself as one of the most popular venues in the United Kingdom, thanks to its short but exciting layout, which encourages plenty of action. I'm Tim Cox. I'm with DJ Clark in the commentary booth. We've got Alex Simpson with us in the production booth. DJ, wow, what can we say? It's a classic combination. Porsche Cup cars, Knockhill. I can't wait for this one. It's going to be exciting.
It most certainly is, and we were talking before just how we really enjoy this circuit. You know, this is one that I wasn't all that familiar with, obviously, and it has surely secured a dear and dear place in my heart. These Porsche Cup cars are going to find it a real handful to get around here quickly. You've got to be very aggressive with this curbing, but when you get it right, oh, it feels fantastic.
It most certainly does indeed. Especially through the chicane section where you just rise over the crest of the hill. If you like to say, you've got to get it absolutely smack on because it's a blind exit and there's a gravel trap looming on the outside. And I was watching during practice, a few of the drivers were having a few trips and getting it through that gravel trap and getting it out of their system early on. Now, as always, so this championship has its 3 sponsors. First up, we got a virtual racing school. You can improve your on-track performance with 50+ data packs for road and oval racing, setups, track guides. They have data analysis software and one-on-one coaching. And then we've got SDK Gaming. If you're looking to add a live virtual HUD to iRacing to show timing towers, enhance relative boxes, mini-maps, fuel calculators and more, you can use it to stream to Twitch for the most complete overlay on iRacing. And furthermore, you can use it to broadcast your leagues and series, like we do for all of our broadcasts here at Apex Racing TV. SDK Gaming syncs your commentary teams, cameras, focuses on drivers and overlays with your broadcaster. And also you can use it to adjust your team strategy on the fly while using the fuel calculator and the most accurate live timing on iRacing. And then finally, we've got Apex Racing Academy. They have 29 data packs with setups, track guides, integration with our other sponsor, Virtual Racing School, weekly groups, coaching sessions, and much, much more. So qualifying, that is well underway as always. 10 minutes, open qualifying, and with such a short lap here, DJ, plenty of chances to move yourself up the leaderboard.
Yeah, plenty of chances to do it, but really and truly you want to be running in as much clean air as possible. There's not all that much space to pick up a good draft and be able to get yourself a nice little tow around here, and any time you may gain up in that draft, you're going to lose it coming through really the second sector of the track with just as twisty as it gets and having to check up for the other drivers. So I think running by yourself here is going to be the crucial mark, and just trying to get a good lap time down and also avoiding those ever-present off tracks around here, which are very easy to pick up.
And also, it's those looming red sausage curbs as well. You can see them there as we just watch Christensen head through the chicane and across the rise. They are absolutely lethal if you catch them in the wrong way. And of course, these cars, no traction control, no ABS. So if you get it wrong, it goes wrong in one really bad way.
Yeah, indeed it does. We actually saw Christensen on his outlap falling afoul of those sausage curbs. You've got to be very careful. You can be aggressive with them in these cars, but the trick is to be off the throttle when you land back down, because if you hit the ground and on full throttle, that rear differential really going to cause the car to spin, and it's very, very easy to lose control.
Just see Christensen absolutely bumping it across the curbs there, throwing the car around, and that last lap, it was good enough for pole of 46.8. Well, it seems strange not saying one number there, but yeah, it's sub 1 minute lap here at Knockhill. As you just see Martin Jensen there just running a bit wide. That's going to delete that time. Goddestad just heading up into second place and joining his teammate on the front row of the grid. It's great to see we've got Nam up there fighting. Lassine, the Belgium driver, currently on the second row of the grid in fourth place.
Yeah, indeed, doing an absolutely fantastic job there for him. And we've seen some really good qualifying out of the scene earlier on this season, so good to see him up there again. Watch Martin Jensen there, a little bit wide at Taylor's hairpin. That's a very easy mistake to make. The uphill cambering of the corner, you can really lose your braking zone if you're not careful.
He's going to cut the timing beam. Let's take a little look at what his lap time was. And improvement in lap time there, but not good enough to move himself up a place. He remains in fourth for now. He's currently sharing. It's a local driver, British driver. That second row is all the scene, just losing it there. So that's going to delete that lap into. He got really squirrely on the brakes into Butchers. McIntyre just seeing him come through Clark Curve. That ever so treacherous, one of the, quite a few treacherous curves out on track. So you can see down into the notorious Taylor's hairpin. It's almost the like driving in reverse around the the first part of the corkscrew at Laguna Seca. Yeah, big elevation change and the massive difference in terms of where the track drops off or rises up in this case.
Yeah, that is a fantastic way to kind of compare it. The elevation change, you really don't get a sense of it unless you are in the car yourself. It is just absolutely massive, and because of the way the corner breaks away from you, as I said, that braking zone, so tricky to get right, and because it lies at the start of the longest straight at this circuit, the start-finish straight, which leads into one of the primary overtaking opportunities, it is absolutely crucial to get picture perfect.
So come on, strong. Seeing his fastest time there, 47.275, but only good enough for sixth, third row of the grid. So he's been really struggling out there. And just talking about that corner, DJ, the final corner Taylor's, it's a bit like Remus, which is turn, well, some say it's turn 2, officially it's turn 3 at the Red Bull Ring, where it's almost better not to take the apex because you can keep the car flatter and more planted to the ground, as you just see. James Parker taking a bit of a pirouette there out of McIntyre. Yeah, it's almost better to miss the apex so you can keep the car as flat as possible, so the car doesn't, lift the wheel off the ground and then you start struggling for acceleration where the rear end gets all squirrely.
Yeah, that's very, very true, Tim. It's almost a counterintuitive corner in that way, and it's all about momentum. And there you see Dan Garcia doing exactly what we were talking about, not really clipping that apex, not really clipping that inside curving, but just trying to carry as much momentum, running it a little bit on the high side. And because of the camber of the corner, it allows you to do that a little bit more than you would naturally think.
Definitely a few of the corners catching our drivers out during qualifying. We're pushing really, really hard, and it's definitely catching a few of the drivers out. Really a bit of a jumbled up field in the midfield. That's going to provoke some interesting results when we go racing. Not long left in qualifying right now, in about 1 minute and 10 seconds. I'll just give you an idea on temperatures here in Knockhill in Scotland. We've got 20 degrees Celsius ambient, that's 21 degrees on the track. So not too hot at all. There's going to be plenty of grip out there for our drivers. In terms of the wind, it's a bit of an east with a gust of 21 kilometers an hour, so it shouldn't affect the cars too much, but not exactly going to be aiding them massively with those gusty winds.
No, it's not, and these Porsche Cup cars do have a decent amount of downforce on them, so there is going to be a little bit of that buffeting, but ooh, that looked like a nasty little flip there with Garcia.
I don't know if you caught it there, DJ. The amount of air that Dan Garcia just got there, he was fully, all 4 wheels, off the ground, flying through there. It was, yeah, after the race, I'm going to have to rewind it, the replay, and take a screenshot of it. It was spectacular to see. Let's just see James Parker really launching it across the curves there, showing you that's how exactly it should be done as he heads around Clark, but no improvement. Well, it's the end of qualifying, and that is done and dusted for the final time this season. And wow, we get ready for race 1. So on pole for the final time this season, it is Roger Christensen of RPC Esports. He's got his teammate Godestad with him on the front row. An all-British row on the second row. It's Parker and Cope with AM driver Lacine. He's got Yamantas joining him for the company on the third row of the grid. Kim Anderstrom really struggling out there in qualifying. Not near the sharp end like we normally have come to expect to see him. He's in 7th, sharing the 4th row with Kundalis. Dan Garcia, he's in 9th. He's got AM driver Dan Palmer-Lee with him on the 5th row of the grid. Martin Jensen and Tom Minot make up an all-AM row on the 6th row, and the last complete row with Daniel Merchant rounding out the field in 13th place. And, well, I think this could be interesting. Of course, as we head into week 13 on iRacing, it's not a track that people will have been racing all week like we've normally come accustomed to, where we followed the officials. So I think this could really, really throw up some interesting results. Yeah, hence why we've seen what we have done in qualifying.
Yeah, indeed. We're not used to seeing the RPC Esports drivers all bunched together, so a little bit different there for them. Great runs for Parker, Cope, and Lacine to be able to break that up. I have to agree with you here, Tim. This is going to be a real wild card in terms of what we're used to seeing.
Of course, for race 2, the grid is formed from the results from race 1, but of course the top 8 are inverted, so 8th place will be on pole. Keep an eye out for He's currently in 8th place. But here come the lights, and let's get ready to go racing for the final time this season here from Knockhill. And we are away. And a great start from Christensen there. But equally, just in the background there, Parker getting away strongly as well as they all make it through Duffer's Dip for the first time. Cars dropping down and descending to the lowest part of the circuit before they begin the climb. They head through the notorious chicane. Everyone taking a bit gingerly on this opening lap here. Really looking just to keep the car on track. They know that just coming off will cost them so dearly, and the amount of places that they will lose as they head around Clark and then down the railway straight. Well, not really so much of a straight. It's got a big, long, swooping curb to it. This is where it's going to get interesting. The exit out of Taylor's. Who's going to get it hooked up? Are we going to see some moves done down into turn 1? Well, certainly no one's going to get near Roger Christensen. He's out in the lead, and he's pulled half a second over his teammate Goddestad. So they all stream through. It looks like everyone's, well, got away cleanly here, DJ, but being a little bit reserved in these early stages, and I think probably quite wisely.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Everybody just taking this a little bit calmly right now, a little bit on the back foot, not wanting to push too hard. But not speaking of that, that was Humantis up there trying to get a good move done on Thomas Cope and able to get it done in that 117.
Yeah, Thomas Cope just seemed to struggle through the chicane, got really unsettled, looking to reclaim the place here into Taylor's, and a bit of banging of doors there. But Humantis with that out. What I mean, the line, able to carry so much more momentum, and now Cope is under pressure from Kundalis as they head down to turn 1. Cope on the inside and just about gets it through and keeps hold of that position, but, well, it nearly could have gone from bad to worse there for Cope.
Yeah, it very well could have. That was very, very good defensive driving from Thomas Cope, and now you can see him pulling a little bit of a gap there as they work their way up into Clark. And he's got to watch out from behind because Kundalis can very easily make that attack, and it really is one of the sort of things about this circuit that it is very easy to have that domino effect to kick off. If you lose one position, you can very easily find yourself tumbling down the order from there on out.
Oh, there's a spinner there in the background. That is the scene, and after a strong qualifying, our first driver to fall victim of the exit of Taylor's. Oh, that's Kim Anderstrom in the background there. He's lost a whole ton of places. And, wow, I'm having to look 2, 3, 4 times to see it, just confirm what I'm actually seeing. I mean, he's won, I think, twice so far this season, and no, apologies to Kim Armstrong, it's more than that. But wow, he's really struggling out here.
Yeah, he really is, and you know, this is one of those circuits that it's a very much love it or hate it circuit. We seem like we've gone to a lot of those this season, and I think for Kim Armstrong, he's definitely falling into that latter category.
So a quick look back through, so it's 5 wins to Kim Armstrong's name so far this season, and well, he's going to have his work cut out if he wants to add to that here at Knockhill. He won the first ever race of the championship all the way back at Bathurst some weeks ago. It's like an eternity in some ways, but 5 minutes at the same time. And there's a spin in the background there. That's Kundalis. He's gone. And Dressier having to take evasive action just to get round him there, but Kundalis falling right down to, well, 12th position there. He's down to 13th, Strong past him. Wow, some drivers really struggling out there in these early stages.
Yeah, very much so, and I think that sort of cautiousness that we saw in the opening laps very much proved out to be the wiser choice here. Some of these drivers now starting to push a little bit now that the tires have come up to full temperature, and it's really coming back to bite them. This curbing that you talked about earlier, those big red sausage curbs, just really catching drivers out, not being as careful as they need to, and letting the car get away from them as they come off of the corner.
Wow. Humantis, one of the drivers really under pressure right now after getting past Cope. Cope stayed right tucked up behind him as they head down to Taylor's once again, and Cope getting, oh wow, I thought he was going to be into the back of Humantis there, getting really loose on the brakes, but managed to get it stop in time and avoid Humantis, but oh, that could have been an absolute disaster for the pair of them. So just see Dressier here, he's chasing down, well, Dan Palm Lee, leading in AMP, 6 overall, currently at 4 places. He's had a brilliant start as the American.
Yeah, he certainly has. A little bit wide there coming through the corner, but I think that's a little bit of a calculated risk there from him in McIntyre, just trying to carry that big M word that we already talked about here. Momentum, momentum, momentum. That is a big thing as we've got a little bit of a move here with Cope trying to make a move on Humantis.
Well, it looks like it's going to be moved, and he's going to get up the inside. Here's Cope. Kundalis taking that wider line, looking for the switchback to get really open up the corner and get the car straight as soon as possible, but it's not working for him here. And Cope's going to get it, the move done and reclaim that 4th place. As we just see, wow, Palmer Lee is absolutely coming alive here in the final round. That's in the battle currently with Josiah, who is no slouch whatsoever. The pro driver behind him, and yeah, though he's applying pressure, Palmer Lee is firmly keeping hold of this place right now.
Yeah, perfect amount of aggression there on the curbs, coming up through the chicane and down the little mini Brabham straight as they work their way up into Clark's right now. This is exactly how you defend, and this is exactly how you attack if you're Dan Dracia.
Well, it's going to be fascinating to see what Palmer Lee tries to do here, taking the wider line. He knows that Dracia is obviously he's a pro driver, so it won't affect him leading him overall right now. However, he does now have Jensen behind him. He's currently 2nd in these two, 7th and 8th overall. But the raw pace that Palmer Lee is displaying in these early stages, he's got to feel confident surely here, DJ.
Yeah, I think he would be. Being able to battle like that with the pro driver is really going to boost his confidence, and this is a track that rewards that confidence. As I said, if you are aggressive around the curves around here, it can pay off dividends, and you just have to be assertive with them and make sure you're not backing off. Because really and truly backing off here around Knockhill can actually serve the opposite effect, and it can come back to bite you.
Just pulling away now from Palmer Lee. That gap extending out to about a 2nd now as they head down through Duffer's Dip, already up onto lap 9 already. It's a short lap here, and it's quick, it's fast, it's furious. As you see it there, just bumping across the curbs. Let's take a look at this replay. So Tom Minot, what's happened to him? See another victim through the chicane. Oh! Another driver to really get airborne there, and as you were saying earlier, DJ, you know, it's then becomes, if you keep just that little bit of power in, it makes it so easy to lose that rear end, and well, that's exactly what we've seen just happen there.
Yeah, exactly. You've just got to be careful on the throttle, because when you come up into the air like that, especially in that position where all 4 wheels are off the ground, when you hit, those rear tires will be spinning and immediately trying to find grip, and it's just very, very easy to loop these Porsche Cup cars right around.
So, 8.5 minutes complete here. Just read about 1/3 of the race 1 completed. Let's just take through your order. Just looking at our current leader, Roger Christensen, just coming up onto the back of Merchant now. He's got his teammate Goddestad, a 2nd behind him in 2nd place. James Parker, he is occupying that last podium position with fellow Brit Cope behind him in 4th. Yomantas 5th, and Josiah 6th. Then we're into the AM drivers. Our leader, effectively our whole podium, then lies Linus Stern, Palmer Lee, 7th overall leader in AM, Jensen 8th, Lacine 9th. Well, I say that Lacine has just got past Jensen, as you see Christensen there heading past the 111 of Kundlis, who is now a couple of laps down after that earlier damage. But let's take a look at how Lacine captured that 2nd place. Well, he's quite far back. Ah, there we go. It was a mistake from Jensen. Curse the slowdown, and a relatively easy pass there. Probably one of the easiest passes he's had all season for Lacine.
Yeah, most certainly, and sometimes that's just the way to get on by, and it's the simplest way to get on by here at Knockhill. Just apply the right amount of pressure to the driver ahead of you and try to force them offline.
So just take you through your rest of your order. Kim Anderstrom, who we're just watching now, he's been slowly picking himself back up and heading back through the field, currently up to 10th place, still well down from where we normally expect him. We've got Tom Minot, he is 4th down and 11th overall. Merchant are now a lap down in 12th place. Then Kundlis 3 laps down after that earlier incident. He had to head to the pits for a few repairs. You just see Strom there. That's up into 9th. Jensen making that easy overtake for him then. Not getting in his way whatsoever. Jensen knowing where his fights lie, I think, really.
Yeah, and I think that's the right call from him, just getting out of the way of the leader. As I said, if you try to get too far offline here and get off of the traditional racing circuit, it can really just throw you off. And for Jensen, discretion, the better part of valor. Just keep running here and keep hoping that you're going to be able to keep that line the best you can.
I suppose as well for Jensen, it's where he's now, you know, instead of fighting it, he's now following a faster driver. So maybe be able to pick up certain techniques, lines that Strom is using, and use those to actually, you know, close the gap up to Parmalee and Lacine, who, actually, just looking at those two, they're starting to really close in on one another. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, that was Merchant just heading into the bit. Sorry, I thought that was Cope, then apologies. Sorry, DJ.
No, I was going to say that's actually a very, very valid strategy to be able to just sort of tuck up behind and maybe learn the lines a little bit of the faster driver. Now, granted, these are really, really advanced drivers in these Porsche Cup machines, and so I think here for some of the drivers that it may not be as crucial, as important to be able to try to get behind them, as they know the lines that they're going to want to be running. Is a little bit of a look to the inside there for Lacine coming up into Taylor's.
Just really bumpy and clumsy across that curve, as we were talking about earlier, where it's almost better to take that wider line like Parmalee did, and he's been able to keep hold of that first position in class, 7th overall. However, Lacine, the way he is all over the rear bumper and tucks up, almost contact there. Not sure how they quite avoided one another. That must have literally been a cigarette paper's like width between them, as Lacine just gets a bit of a bad landing there, runs a bit wide. Now he's got Strom all over his rear bumper as we come round up the corner, round Clark Corner, and head up to Taylor's. This is where it gets interesting. What is Strom going to do? He heads up the inside and looks to get a 2-for-1 move. Oh, and there's contact with Parmalee. Well, that probably was a highly ambitious move that, well, wasn't always necessarily going to come off.
Yeah, I think that was just a little bit over-eager there from Kim Anderstrom. Able to get one, that I can understand, but trying to go for two there, just a hair more biting off than he could chew. He was always going to carry some more momentum than he wanted to into Taylor's there, and I think Lacine, or Jensen rather, was always going to catch the brunt of it.
And what that now means for Parmalee is he's down to 4th place. Take a look at the replay from above, and you can see, well, I don't think Parmalee wasn't expecting it either, to have one of the RPC cars just right alongside him, having been two cars back effectively, and yeah, it was, wow. I mean, I came out strong, desperate to make up places through the field, but yeah, I think he probably one of those ones where even by himself, he'll probably feel a bit disappointed by that one. But now means that Lacine has got the lead in AM. A lot easier than probably what he would have anticipated. Parmalee, absolutely disappointing for him. He was on course. If he had, carried on with that, so just clicks over half race distance. He would have been on for his first win of the season. Absolutely gutting for him. Now, as things stand, Kim Anderstrom will be on pole for race 2. He's occupying that 8th position. Of course, the grid for race 2 is formed from the race results from race 1. The top 8 inverted, so 8th then takes pole first, gets demoted to 8th, and obviously everyone else sorted accordingly in between that. So it's going to be interesting to see what strategy now Strom implies, because he's got around about 5 seconds between himself and Lacine. Does he actually stay where he is to guarantee that pole for race 2?
I think he's going to want to try to push here a little bit just to see if he can close up to Lacine. But I think at the end of the day, with 10 minutes left to go in the race, just holding off an 8th is going to be the best way by. We know that that machine has got some speed in it. We know the 192 has got the speed to be able to push its way forward. And so I think for him, holding station is probably the best way, as it is just so difficult to overtake here. He could very easily be on pole in that second race and just hold on to it for the rest of the session.
Indeed. You see now Parker really starting to close up onto the back of Goddestad. Equally, the gap between Christensen and Goddestad has come down slightly. About 4 laps ago, it was out to a second. It's now come down to 8/10 of a second. So, deduction there, and James Parker is looking really, really racy right now. You can tell it's a bit of local knowledge and feeling really at one and comfortable with the car. And you can see the way he's able to monster the chicane and have so much more confidence through there. And use that, the keyword you use so often, DJ, throughout the whole of the season. He's able to carry so much more momentum through it compared to Goddestad and Christensen ahead of him, who are still taking it that little bit gingerly, almost scared might be a too strong a word, but very cautious and nervous around those curves.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit of, thinking about where you are in terms of the championship here. For Goddestad, he's got to think about that. Parker, he just wants to go. He just wants to get the best position he can. And so he can afford to be a little bit more aggressive. And where Goddestad thinking about the big picture here, maybe just trying to get home, get this car to the end, and not as concerned if he's second or third, just so long as he's on the podium.
Wow, Goddestad is actually dropped a bit further back off Christensen. The gap now out to around about 1.4 seconds nearly. Nearly 6/10 of a second compared to his teammate ahead. However, Parker has remained right up close and personal as we head towards the last 7 minutes of race 1. For me, DJ, it's going to be interesting to see what Parker does, because he's got a nice buffer to cope behind him. Does he just cement that podium position, knowing they will start in front of these guys for race 2? I think that ultimately the racer in him is going to want to get past Goddestad, but equally, as we have already seen, the big overtaking opportunity is into the corner that they're just going through now, Sailors, and it can go horribly wrong very quickly, and you can end up losing a lot of places and a lot of time. And if you're Parker, what do you think, what would you do?
If I was James Parker at this point, I would be perfectly content to just hold position here, because as you said, I know that I'm going to be ahead of Christensen and Goddestad in that second race, and I don't want to be too aggressive to run the risk of making a big mistake and throwing that all away. But Tim, you tell a racer to calm down and stay in line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, DJ. These guys are going to, we know full well Parker would love nothing more to move a step up on the podium and take that second place from Goddestad. He'll be absolutely desperate to snatch that from him, as much as it will impede him slightly for race 2.
Exactly. And if you're a racer, you put a car directly in front of you, it is a carrot on a stick. You are going to be pushing your way as hard as you can to try to get up on by, and it really takes the most skilled, savvy, and heady of drivers to be able to recognize, nope, just hold on, and I got to stick where I am to get a good result.
As we see the gap extend even further out between Christensen and Goddestad. Out to nearly 2.4 seconds. 2.4 seconds. Christensen really starting to feel at one with the track and building on, your favourite word, DJ, building on that momentum and to set some quick laps here. His best is nearly 2 tenths quicker than the next quickest lap. Currently, Christensen's best lap is a 47-second dead. exactly, even down to the 100th of a second. He's got it absolutely smack on. I think that almost deserves a big shout out and a bonus point for that, for being able to get it exactly on 47 seconds. Next question, quickest is, well, is his teammate just behind him, Godestad, on the 47.17. I haven't said that, from that point onwards, all incredibly close, and equally as well, last time around, Godestad and Parker set exactly the same lap time. So they cut the time being once more, that has changed slightly, but these lap times are just so incredibly close between all of our drivers. I mean, last time around, I think the spread from Godestad in second across the whole of the rest of the field, it was around about 2 tenths difference, covering all those cars in terms of their lap time.
Yeah, it's really remarkable, and I think the proof is in the pudding on it. When you look at it, that they've only been able to lap 3 cars up to this point. This is such a quick circuit, and you would expect traffic to be such a big part of it, but everyone around here is just so quick that Dan Connolly has been able to just keep ahead of everybody else, keep ahead of Roger Christensen, and remain on the lead lap. And if things continue to go the way they have been, he should stay on the lead lap through the end of this race.
Sitting right on board with Parker right now. That gap is just under half a second between himself and Godestad, Godestad is really struggling with the chicane. You can tell the way that the car's getting through, it's very, very clumsy the way that he gets through it, whereas Parker is more like a brain surgeon scalpel. He's just straight through it, precision, perfect, and I think it's just through this part of the circuit where Parker just seems to be struggling compared to Godestad, that he just can't make up that time that he's gaining through the chicane and get a move done.
Yeah, exactly, Tim. That really looks to be what it is, that in the primary overtaking opportunity, Parker just doesn't quite have the oomph, but through here, through the twisty bits, he's really got this car together. As we watch them both crest over the hill, you see just how more aggressive Parker is there with the chicane, just how more aggressive with the first part it is, and the second part, running it out as wide as he can. He just has that corner down on lock, and if he could only get that same kind of run through Taylor's, this would be a different story altogether.
Coming through. Taylor's, funnily enough, now. Let's see what this gap is down to. Well, it's remaining pretty constant and around about 4 tenths, and it just needs to catch a break. It's just that final edge. Move done on Godestad. Not long left here at Knockhill in race 1, and Christensen in line for the victory. 1.5 seconds clear of these two right now. 1 minute 30 left on the clock. He's starting to slowly catch up, and he's going to run out of time. What is Parker going to do? He's looming. He seems to be closing up a bit further. Yeah, that gap has just dipped under 4 tenths for the first time in a while. Cope is starting to close up onto them. I think this could be really, really interesting. Taking the white flag. No apologies, they haven't. No, that's going to be next time around. So I think Parker could be saving this up for one big lunge into Taylor's on the last lap.
I think you very well could be right, and just see how aggressive he was there through the chicane, taking a big chunk of that curbing. Runs it perfect again. Godestad just trying to hold this out as long as humanly possible here for it. Let's watch this run through Taylor's.
Parker gets a much better exit compared to what he's had. There you might have just caught it. The white flags are out. 1 lap to go here at Knockhill in race 1 of the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship. And it is all about this battle for second. Godestad versus Parker. Scandinavia versus the UK. Who is going to come out on top? And with such a short lap, we do not have long to wait at all. There's Parker up on 2 wheels there and not carrying this usual level of momentum. And Godestad might have just done enough here to hold on to that second place. One corner left to go. It's Taylor's, one of the most tricky corners on the track, probably other than the chicane. But Christensen, he's out of it. He's clear fine. He's got that big buffer of time, and he takes the checkered flag. Gotta stand. He keeps hold of that second place. Parker third, and Cope, well, he's closing at the end, but he ran out of time and has to settle for fourth. Gimantas comes along across the line in fifth there.
Good run from all of the top 4 drivers here. We watched Corentin Lacine, who's going to take victory in the AM category, able to have a nice, healthy gap. Kim Anderstrom didn't wait around. He is going to be in 8th, and he is going to line up on pole for this second race. That could be crucial.
It could be. It could be a really telling part of the story of race 2. Just wait for the last few drivers to come across the line. There is Martin Jensen to claim second place in AM. Tom Minot, he picks up the last podium place in AM. 10th overall, and well, Dan Palmerley, you've got a feel for him. He'll be gutted by that one after leading for a good half of the race. That contact with Strom, I really put pay to that, but still 4th is a solid result for him, I think.
Yeah, I think it is as well. He'll be relatively pleased with that to walk away with it. And now as we get into the warm-up session, it's all looking forward for that race 2.
Yes, indeed. Let's take you through your Class 5 results here for race 1. Well, your winner is Roger Christensen once again this season, and that makes up what is his 4th win of the season. He's not been on the... Sorry, his 5th, apologies. His last win came all the way back at Spa in race 1 as well, funnily enough. And also, interesting stat, that day, Strom won race 2. He's starting from pole for race 2. So that's good. Could well have a repeat of that. Got to stand in second place. Parker rounding out your podium with Cope in 4th. Gimantas 5th. Dracia 6th. And then 7th overall, your winner in AM is Lacine. Strom managed to recover and pick up that crucial 8th place, as we said just a few moments ago. He will be on pole for race 2. Martin Jensen 9th and 2nd in AM with Tom Minot, rounding out your top 10. And that last podium place in AM. Dan Palmerley 11th. Gundalis, he finished 3 laps down in the end. And Merchant rounding out your field. He retired the cat 19 laps ago. We're going to head to a quick commercial break now. We'll see you on the other side for race 2.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers, including Peter Berryman, John Robertson, Brandon Trano, and IndyCar World Champion Alex Palou. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Welcome back, and join us. We're about a minute away from the cars taking to the grid for the final time this season. for race 2 from Knockhill. Now, DJ, obviously we've had the update to iRacing, which has affected the off tracks, where it's a little bit more lenient on quite a few of the tracks now. And I don't know if you've seen, you know, I was having a bit of a scroll through Reddit last night and spotted now that, especially at places like on the exit of the Lesmos at Monza, really allows you to open up the corner and really get out onto the curbing. And I think that's going to play an interesting part of, well, not just this league, but all of them across, you know, the whole of iRacing, and especially in multi-class as well. I think that could prove it to be a little bit easier for getting passing moves done and not incurring some of those pesky off tracks. Of course, you know, Monza, Spa, another one of the circuits where you seem to really fall foul of them.
Yeah, indeed. I know I was doing some trials last night on Watkins Glen, and that also having some updates to it. And I think it's a good thing to be able to open that up. And as you said, for traditional racing, the way that it is in single class, it's going to help overtaking. And for multi-class in particular, it's really, really going to open up those options. Driving as a faster car, whether it be the prototypes or the GT4s in the Pilot Challenge, really going to make things easier to try to get on by.
Yeah, I mean, another one is the production car challenge in Class D. Really underrated series, that one, and great way to get yourself into multi-class racing if you're new to iRacing. But let's just take you through your grid for race 2 and for the final race of the season in the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship. Kim Amsterdam, he will start from pole with your winner of last time out, Lacine, an AM driver on the front row of the grid. Andresi and Yamantas on the second row. Cope and Parker making an all-British third row. Godestad and Christensen, the two RPC Esports drivers, on the fourth row, with Jensen and Minot running at your top 10. Dan Palmer-Lee, he starts at 11th with Cunley's 12th. And Daniel Merchant is going to round out the field. But here come the lights, and let's get ready to go racing the final time this season. And we are away, and Strom does not hang around. They head straight across onto the racing line, but they're going 2 wide, possibly even 3 wide in the background as we head down Dufferstip for the first time in race 2. And just seeing in the background there, Christensen trying to get some move done. Godestad's managed to get past Yamantas on these early stages. Yamantas having a really poor start, dropped 2 places. Likewise, Parker as well. He dropped a couple of places too. The starts that they would have hoped for. Just kicking up a bit of dust there, but everyone safely through. No mistakes in these opening laps. But on the attack already as we see us up in the foreground there. Godestad moving up. Well, no, it's right where he is. Apologies. You see the AM driver still holding on to second overall as we see Christensen trying to head up the inside into Dufferstip. They're side by side. They backdoor to Yamantas is off. He's gone. And Parker looks to try to pick Christian's pocket while he was distracted, but he's unable to get it done. Well, it was a brave move to go side by side through that. Oh, that's a scene. He's off as well. Our leader in AM, who was second overall, has fallen victim to the chicane, and he is off. I think he managed to keep it out of the wall, but he's fallen all the way down to 10th place.
Oh my goodness, it is all coming to a fore here in the opening minute and a half of this race. Absolute heartbreak for Lacine. He was putting up a great fight up there with Thomas Cope, being able to keep that car at bay. As we jump back into the middle of the field, it looks like Minot and Merchant going side by side.
Holding on around the outside. He's had a good start. He's already at 4 places. Could be a bit of redemption after, well, a really disappointing race won by his own standards. So why not just keeping on that 8th place for now? There's been an instant ahead. That's Jensen. He's stopped on the track. He's got going once more, but we see Kundlis now really slowed up, and now he's got a Q40 behind him. And Merchant sensing that Minot was had to slow up there because of Kundelis, and he's going to try and head around the outside through Taylor's. Can he keep his nose in there? And now it's all about the drag race down to turn 1. but might have just done enough here. Cudless is on the grass trying to get a move done. He's managed to find the inside line. He's managed to squeeze through as they almost rub doors through Dupper's dip, and somehow Minot holds on. DJ, I do not know how Tom Minot has managed to hold on to that position.
Neither do I, but put that up on a blackboard and teach it in class, because that is the definition of how you defend a position. My goodness, Tom Minot not to be denied this lead in AM. You saw him push Merchant all the way down to the grass, coming down the front straightaway. You saw just that bold, assertive line. Absolutely incredible stuff.
See, this is what we've seen. Palmer Lee, has he had a bit of contact, maybe? Ooh, he tried to go sneak around the outside there. Oh, and just outbrakes himself onto the grass where he found himself some space. Oh, it's gone badly for him. He'll be absolutely gutted by that one. Just see it, he's going 13th and he's a lap down, so slightly out of places. Oh, he almost tagged. I think that was that Thomas Cope ahead of him. Oh wow, that could have been a real big disaster, but you see it just managing to avert it.
Indeed he did. This is a little bit of a battle starting to shape itself out here. Whoa! Oh, that's a replay there of Juventus, that incident at the beginning laps.
And relatively slow speed impact with the barrier side on. And this is what happened to Lacine only just shortly after. In fact, let's have a look. There we go. Yeah, I did. Clearly, he's not been listening to DJ's school of how to handle the chicane. You can see those rear tyres were rotating. He was on the accelerator, and that's what sent him spinning around as he came down to the ground once more. He flicked the car around, but wow, it looks like he's driving that car in anger, where he's trying to get back up. Despite falling off the track, he's actually third in class right now, 9th overall, and we're in the sniff of our top two in AM, who are only just ahead of him.
Yeah, indeed, the race is still very much on for Lacine here, and we've seen just how much pace that 291 has, so I think it is certainly possible within the next 20 minutes before the checkered flag, he could get by Merchant, he could get by Minot, although the one thing that he had working in his favor was the battle between Minot and Merchant. That has faded away a little bit, and he's going to have to pick them off one by one.
Just learning from the mistake that he made previously, and really through the chicane, really catching up onto the back of the Frenchman, Merchant. After that cracking start, already up 5 places. And here comes Lacine on the brakes, but Merchant says no, you don't have it that easy, and shuts the door right in Lacine's face to keep hold of that second place in AM right now, 8th overall. Lacine is going to have to tuck back in and do all the hard work again once more across the lap to get himself into an overtaking position, potentially coming down into Taylor's.
And again, we see that high line coming into play around Taylor's. Good defensive move there from Merchant to be able to hold on to that. He gave just enough space to Lacine, but just pinched him on the exit of the corner to make sure he couldn't get the power down fully. Both drivers running a little bit wide at the exit of Clark, but a good little run here again for Lacine.
See Merchant damage to the front right corner of the car. He's gone defensive on that inside line. Lacine looking for the switchback. Can he get the move there? Merchant trying to run him out onto the grass there. They're side by side as they come across the start-finish line, heading down to turn 1. Merchant's got the inside line. Lacine just backs out, playing the safe game in these early stages of race 2. Just coming up to already 8 minutes nearly complete here in race 2. I'm not too sure where that has gone, but wow, this is fully on between these two, but it's playing right into the hands of Tom Minot, because as much as these two keep battling, it means that they're dropping off the back of our leader in AM. You can see him just head through the screen right now, and he has pulled out around about a 1.8 second advantage over these two as they battle resumes, and they're backing themselves into Yamantas. I know he's a pro driver, so it won't affect the standings in terms of AM, but wow, look back from Merchant, the scene is in full attack mode.
Yeah, he really is, and you can tell it tries to be later on the brakes there down into Duff and Stiff, but watch him as he takes through the curbing here in this second sector. He is just so aggressive on the curbs. He is really pushing that car, and Tim, I think you nailed I think you hit the nail on the head when you said he is driving with anger here. He wants this second place nail.
Yamantas just seems to be gingerly sitting behind these two. You can see that they're battling over the second podium place in and Lassim runs it around the outside and he keeps that momentum going, and he's going to pull himself just ahead of Merchon, and this is surely going to be the move done, but they're dragging out. This is not going to, nobody's going to yield as we head down to turn 1, and well, Lassim swoops down from the outside and takes the position from Daniel Merchon.
Indeed, and Yomantis looked a little bit interested there to try to maybe get something done through McIntyre. I think his next victim is certainly going to be Merchant ahead of him. He's right up behind as they work their way through Clark. Just an absolute stellar move there, though, from Lassim, just being relentless in his attacks.
Yomantis seeking the opportunity there and slipping it past Merchant. There's a bit more damage. It doesn't matter. The season is over, done and dusted after the end of this round. Merchant just throwing absolutely everything at this, and seeing that able to pull away from his competitor in that gap already out to 1.5 seconds. If you take a look at the replay, this is Roger Christensen. Now this, I'm trying to speak from where this is from, because he's got his teammate in front of him, and all. Nice easy move there over Godestad. That was almost like that was a bit of team orders coming into play there.
Yeah, it certainly looked that way, although it may have just been a little bit of outbreaking himself there on behalf of Godestad, that he just kind of missed the brake zone.
Bit of a bizarre one, that, but well, Thomas Cope is really trying to push Kim Anderstrom for this victory. The final race of the season as Strom out onto the gravel. This is Cope's time to shine right now. He knows the Norwegian driver is unsettled. He needs to try and get the move done, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. As you can just see how bumpy it is out there. And Knockhill and Strom's run wide. He's run wide, and Cope takes the lead from him. He sees the door wide open, he moves through it, and he takes the lead here in race 2 at Knockhill.
And that was a mistake out of Strom, yes, but it was one that was forced by Thomas Cope by just keeping his nose behind him as much as possible and trying to fill those rear view mirrors. Absolutely brilliant attacking there from Thomas Cope to just keep that pressure up, and another mistake from Kim Anderstrom.
Wow, now he's going to have a different RPC car behind him. It's Thomas Cope. It's now Christensen as Strom goes from first to second to third within the space of nearly as many corners. And just looking at it, something's happened to Godestad because he's dropped all the way down to 10th. We saw him let his teammate through. What's happened here? Has he lost it out of... Oh, okay, that looks like possible hardware failure there with that harsh left turn into the wall.
Yeah, that's about the only thing that I can really think of that would cause a situation like that, unless that was just a deliberate parking of it. But even I don't think that kind of that level of frustration would come out in an experienced driver like Godestad.
Well, no, he seems to be going incredibly slowly off the corner exit as well, so not too sure what that one is all about. But, well, you see, once again, Strom being a bit loose and leery out of Taylor's, and his day at the races definitely on track. He'll be happy to leave behind in this championship. As we see Lassim, well, after getting past Merchant, he is now hot on the heels of Tom Minot, our leader in sixth overall right now. And this is game on as we head into the second half of race 2.
Yes, it is indeed. And remember, Lassim was the one that just powered by Merchant, he clearly has some speed. Whoa! Almost forcing an error there coming through the chicane. That was fully on 2 wheels, if not all 4 off the ground.
So you're going to see 2 drivers really push it hard here. Likewise, Christensen, he's managed to close up the gap to Cope in the battle for the lead overall and in pro, as the scene closing right into the back of Minot right now. Wait, let's say only. His last win in and came back at Spa, where he picked up a victory there. Victory at the round prior at Barber, and the round prior to that as well at Sebring. Got a little while without a win. He'll be desperate to win here on home turf. Let's see. Well, after winning in race 1, he wants a clean sweep here at Knockhill. This is going to be really interesting to see how these 2 play out. Of course, we've seen it all season where in race 2 things get a little bit more feisty, drivers become a bit more braver, make lunges and get a bit more aggressive and really utilize their racecraft to get moves done. I get the feeling this is going to be no different here in the season finale, as Lacine now finds himself only 3 tenths away from the back end of Tom Minot. There's Minot, a slight mistake there, get away with it as he heads up to the chicane. That's a tricky corner, one of the many here at Knockhill, and you can see the different lines there. The scene opting for a slightly earlier apex there, DJ, compared to Minot, who's taking a later apex, but equally, it doesn't seem to be affecting either of the drivers too much. They seem to have the same amount of speed coming off it, but Lacine is definitely, seems to me, to be stronger through Taylor's.
Yes, he certainly does, and I also thought it was interesting on that last lap. You talked about those differing lines. We saw similar lines through both drivers down into Butchers and through the chicane, and I'm curious to see if they do it again. Very, very cautious lines. Neither one really wanting to get that aggressive. Oh, that's a little bit of an off track there, though, for Minot. Could that open up an opportunity?
Well, it could well indeed. Lacine is right up onto his bumper. This isn't a normal overtaking opportunity into Clark. As he goes to that late apex once more, he gets a bit squirrely on exit. Minot's going to defend to the inside. There we go. He's moved early. He's put his flag up. It's going to take that inside line. Lacine's going to have to look for the cutback. Can he get the move done? He opts to stay wide and try and carry that pace and momentum, but it's not going to pay off. Minot is going to keep hold of it for now, but Lacine, as I said earlier, he is in full attack mode, just looking, showing his front end into toughest dip, but just has to back out. He's not going to make it there, and Minot is really under pressure, and he needs to make that Porsche 911 Cup car about as wide as the track right now to prevent Lacine, who gets an amazing exit through the chicane once again, and he is absolutely all over Minot like a rash. Minot having to go defensive once again, incredibly early on the run up to Taylor's. Expect to see exactly a carbon copy of what we saw on the last lap. Well, no, Lacine, he opts for a different line. He looks at the cutback, but he just bounces across those sausage curves, and that kills off his momentum, and Tom Minot lives to fight another day.
Absolutely incredible defense there. Ooh, a little bit of a poke to the inside. I think Lacine here trying to get into the head of Tom Minot, but Minot having a very, very sturdy mental defense to be able to put that at bay. And now their biggest problem is they have the pro driver in the form of Yamantis coming up behind them. As there's some of that aggression. Whoa, big look to the inside going down Brabham.
It just shows just how much you can throw these cars around. A lot of people feel a bit, gingerly about them, a bit scared of them because they have no ABS, no traction control, but Lacine is showing with warm tyres just how much you can throw these Porsche Cup cars around. And the exit out of Taylor's, who's going to have the better exit? Well, it looks like they've neutralised one another. I think if you're Yamantis right now, I think you just sort of kick back and just enjoy watching this fight that is going on in front of you. I mean, there's a gap of around about 7 seconds to himself and Kundlis, who's the next pro driver, who's up in 5th place. So I think this is done and dusted for Yamantis. Just kick back and enjoy the show that is happening, and he's got ringside seats right now for it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for him, if there's an opportunity that does present itself with these two squabbling, he'll certainly want to take it. But there's no real need to be able to get up and by right now. So just hold back and loiter, as it were. Going down again into Taylor's. Looking like it's not going to be a move there for Lacine, but maybe a better run out of the corner.
Find out. So your battle for the lead overall, they've remained pretty much as they were. Cope and Christensen, they've got about 3 attempts between them. Still, this Minot somehow still holds on to this lead in 6th place overall. But Lacine, we've seen, and we know he desperately wants to make it to victory. So it'll be the first time an AM driver has achieved that this season, and what a way to do it in style at the season finale. This once again, Minot defensive to the inside. Lacine on the outside, he's looking for that cut back just onto the sausage curb. Is that them once again? It's just hampering his exit, DJ. As soon as he gets onto it, just has to get out the throttle, and it unsettles the car, and that is what's preventing him from getting a really good run out onto the start-finish straight.
Yeah, exactly. What's happening there is because he's going over the curb, he doesn't have all 4 tires on the contact patch to make grip into the ground. He's losing mechanical grip through that corner, and it's not allowing him to get the full launch that he wants to. It's really compromising him. His basic theory, oh, big sideways motion there from Minot. This could be the opportunity for Lacine.
Let's find out. The drag race is on, down to Taylor's. Lacine, he's alongside. He's going to look to hang it all the way around the outside. Who's going to have the next exit? Out of Taylor's. They're still side by side. They bang doors as they head down the start-finish straight. They touch once more. This could end in disaster. And Minot's off. He's into the wall. Lacine carries on. He takes the lead. And Minot, he's got damage. He's across the grass, and he's dropped down to 2nd, and he could even lose 3rd place. Just how much damage has he got? I mean, the car looks to be straight to me, DJ. But oh, that's Lacine. He's off. Lacine's off. What are we seeing here, DJ?
Oh my goodness, karma may be coming back into play there for Lacine, just losing it coming up through the chicane. Let's go back and check out the replay of this full battle. Just a little bit of, frankly, NASCAR-style rubbing going down the main straight and taking it a little bit too far.
Oh, you see the big shove on the elbow that Lacine gave Minot. But as we stay with him, I mean, Yamantas, I think he will be possibly in need of a change of underwear after that one, watching that all unfolding around him. And then Lacine, he just had no need to. He just launched it across the chicane, and around he went. And well, there you go. Minot. Well, I think there'll be a wry smile on Tom Minot's face as he passed Lacine there.
I have to agree with you there on that one. As we check back on, though, the battle for the lead, this hasn't exactly abated. Thomas Cope continuing to lead from Roger Christensen, but the gap is under about 0.4 of a second.
I mean, these two have been like this, you know, for pretty much the race, and it almost feels, I mean, you get excited about this normally, but compared to what we've just seen between Minot and Lacine for so many laps, this always feels a little bit vanilla, DJ.
Yeah, it feels a little bit restrained.
Yeah, and orderly, and you know, and respectful. It's see, Strom is really struggling out there, you know, but practically drifting on the exit of Taylor's. I don't know if you quite caught that in the background there. He practically came out almost sideways, and well, it is definitely a bogey track for him. But Christensen, he is running out of time if he wants to snatch this first place away from the hands of Thomas Cope. That gap up to now nearly half a tenth, and it's interesting, you see this gap, you know, if you've watched the difference between them on the timing tower, the top left-hand side of your screen, you can watch the gap ebb and flow, where the two drivers, they're stronger in different parts of the circuit. And Cope, oh, is he running in a little bit too deep then? I think he's just going to get away with it. Slight mistake on exit by Roger Christensen as well, but I mean, in race one, it felt like for Cope that, you know, when you're following someone, on a road, and you know, they're slow through the parts where you can't overtake them, but then the road opens up and you can overtake and get past them, they suddenly speed up. And that's what it felt like for Thomas Cope in the position that he was in race 1. Now he's got control of the race. It's like role reversal, and it feels like that's what Roger Christensen is currently experiencing in his battle with Cope.
Yeah, it just seems like Christensen's a little bit faster through the twisty bits, able to close up here at the end of the railway straight, but not able to get the run out of Taylor's going down into Duffus, not able to really close in that area from the chicane to Clark. It's just slightly untenable for him. It's slightly out of reach, and it's got to be so frustrating for the driver of the 171.
Wow, we have got 1 minute and 45 seconds left of the season. Who is going to claim the last victory of the championship? Will it be Cope? Will it be Christensen? Will it even be someone else? We don't have long left to find out. They head down the railway straight, the run down to Taylor's. Just looking at that, when they're going to come across the line, this could be close. No, I think they're going to have 2 more laps. They won't take the white flag on this lap. They're definitely not looking at the times now. So Cope has got 2 laps left to defend this lead. Equally, Christensen's got 2 laps left to try and size up Cope and get a move done. I mean, we were saying about it at the end of race 1, DJ. I mean, surely for Christensen, I mean, it was role reversals in the last race. But for Christensen, it's got to be last lap into the final corner, on the brakes, and get the move done there.
Yeah, I think that's got to be part of the mentality to try to just send it up and do a good job to take it if he can. But it's going to be easier said than done for him. As you see, he's just a little bit too far back.
There we go. The white flag flies for the final time this season. 1 lap left. And that is all that stands between Thomas Cope and victory here in race 2. Christensen finds that extra bit of pace that he's just needed all race long. He'll be sick, and looking at the back end of Thomas Cope, I think that was Merchant just off to the side of the road there. Rejoining in the background. But here comes Cope. He's got 1 corner left to defend. It's Taylor's, the big braking zone. Christensen has a look. Cope goes to the inside early. Christensen, you can see him taking that big wide line, that swooping line. But I think Cope might have just done enough here at Knockhill to take victory in the final race of the season. And Christensen has to settle for second. Strom will round out your podium here.
Oh, a fantastic defense there from Thomas Cope to be able to keep Christensen at bay. That's exactly the kind of thing you look for in a close Porsche Cup race like this. And here comes Time Minot, the beneficiary of some good karma today.
Wow. I think only a few laps ago, as they were coming, but full enough where they were now, I don't think Tom Minot would have expected to have taken the victory, but he takes the checkered flag, 7th overall, and your winner in Lacine, 2nd in in the end. Big lock-up there from Tom Minot to park the car. And Palmer Lee, he gets onto the podium here. 10th overall, a great result from him. He's going to be chuffed to bits with that one. It's only the 2nd time. Just having a quick look through my stats, and no, apologies, that is the 1st time Palmer Lee has been on the podium. He's going to absolutely love that one. But yeah, here are your results for the final race of the season. Thomas Cope takes the victory, while Christensen in the end only a quarter of a second behind him in 2nd place. Kim Anstrom rounds out your podium with James Parker 4th, Kundalis 5th, Yamanta 6th, and then your winner in 7th overall, Tom Minot, with Lacine in 8th, 2nd in Godestad 9th, Dan Palmer Lee 10th overall, and that last podium place in with Daniel Merchant a lap down, Josia 4 laps down, Martin Jensen we lost 28 laps ago, and rounding out your field. But wow, he's doing a rolling burnout. Let's see if he can do two things at once. Let's have a chat to your race victor in race 2. Well, there we go. He's just spinning it round now. He's showing off Thomas Cope. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
You say that so casually while you're just doing donuts on the start-finish straight. Well, that seemed like quite a tense last few laps for yourself. Did it feel like that in the car, or do you feel like you always had Christensen at bay?
I mean, that was a very difficult race. Christensen really had some good pace, so I knew I had to bring a lot more to the table than I could. I was pushing the car really hard. I mean, I got a lot of off tracks that race, just trying to keep him at bay. So really congrats to Christensen and all the RPC guys. I mean, 1, 2, 3 in the championship for the drivers and the team championship, I presume, as well. So really congrats to those guys.
I mean, in race 1, it seemed like it was the almost like roles reversal for yourself, where it felt like out there you were quicker in certain parts of the circuit, but just seemed to lack that final edge to get the move done and, you know, make progress where you needed to. I mean, it felt like you were really strong in the sort of like the middle section of the track, but Taylor's the final corner seemed to be, for whatever reason, you just couldn't get it as hooked up quite as well as the RPC guys in front of you, Goddesad and Christensen.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked a lot on the setup. I felt like running a lower wing, because there's really only 1 or 2 passing points on the straights and into the braking zones after the straights. Through sectors 1 and 2, really, unless there's a mistake made by the driver in front, there's nowhere to overtake. So I'm presuming they run a higher wing, just carry a little bit more speed on the straights and into the braking zones, and might be a little bit deeper and better on the brakes as well.
And before we let you go, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to us all?
Yeah, the whole team, all the sponsors, everyone behind me, the RPC guys for the amazing season. They really deserve the win. You guys for the amazing broadcast as always, and the league organisers for the amazing season they put on this year.
No problem at all. That's Thomas Cope, your victor here in race 2. Wow, DJ, I think, as I've had one of the winners, I think you should have only fair. You should have the other one now joined by Tom Minot, your winner in AM.
You read my mind there, Tim. Tom, first off, a very, very fierce battle there with Lacine. Talk me through those moments.
Lacine, I think, span early on in the second race, and I didn't know how much time he lost, but suddenly I think after about lap 5, 6, I noticed him on the relative, and I knew he'd be soon behind me. But yeah, that felt like that battle went on for sort of 10 laps, holding him behind. But yeah, it's a little bit disappointed to get run off track. I haven't really looked at the replay fully yet, but it seemed like I think he maybe just misjudged where the rear of his car was. I don't think Lacine is a dirty driver. I think he's raced really well this season, along with I think most of the grid. So I think it was an accident, but it was definitely I was sweating, and I probably need a shower after this because that was tough.
Well, it certainly looked tough. And I mean, talk me through your emotions. You took a pretty sizable chunk through the grass there, and then to come out on the other side. And what was it like then realizing that Lacine himself had an off and you were right back into the lead?
I would be lying if I said it wasn't sweet to see him spinning backwards. But yeah, he held his brakes. He didn't come back onto track, which was useful. But I thought that was it. I was more worried about looking at the relative box actually to see about who else was going to overtake me. I managed to hold it together, and you know what these cars are like when they go over sort of elevation changes onto the iRacing grass. You know, there's very little grip, so I managed to just about hold it together. But yeah, the car it's not looking so great now, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, it was a good race. It was a good second race. I'm happy to get another win. I've absolutely thoroughly enjoyed this whole season. It's been one of the best sort of things I've done on iRacing by a long way. That the whole field has been really tight, and we've had a really good battle. And I think this, regardless of any like penalty outcomes, I'm pretty sure Lacine's far enough ahead in for him to win it. So I think congratulations. He's driven amazing this season.
Well, I mean, looking back on the season, obviously taking the win here in the final race has got to be up there. But any other highlights that you want to point to that you've just thoroughly enjoyed?
I think Barber. I think I had a really good race with Barber with maybe Dressia and Scott Mokes behind me, and I managed to keep them behind. And I think I've improved a lot on my car positioning and like trying to really focus on how to defend cleanly. The scoring system, I guess, for this championship, it kind of awards. Although we're in our own AM category, we still get points by beating a pro driver. So it's still advantageous to try and hold people off and gain the extra points. And I've learned a ton. I think yeah, no, it's been a blast. I hope there's another season. I hope there's good sort of repeat people coming back from this, like the same crowd coming back again for another season, and maybe some new additions. So yeah, no, it's been great. But this is a nice way to top it off for sure.
Well, I certainly echo your sentiment about wishing this to come back. But on the day, a win here, anybody you want to thank?
I maybe I'm not going to thank him, but I'm going to shout out to my pregnant wife next door. So I'm hoping we can maybe squeeze one more season of this in before the baby comes, but we'll see if that gets announced and when it starts. So, but yeah, guys, thanks for doing a great job with the commentary. It's been nice to watch some of the replays back post race and stuff, and actually like everyone on the grid. It's been a joy. It's been a ton of fun.
Well, thank you. I can tell you when you put on races like that, it is our absolute pleasure. That was Tom Minot, your winner here today in AM. Tim?
Well, I think over to yourself. He's made this driver's won 5 times this season. In race 2, had to settle for second. It's Roger Christensen of RPC Esports.
Good evening. Good evening.
Well, Roger, I mean, it looked like it was a really hard-fought battle out there today with, well, yourself, with battles you were having with Godestad, and then obviously Thomas Cope in the last race as well. I mean, it definitely looked like a real challenge for you.
Yeah, I feel like I had this track pretty nailed, so didn't feel too hard battling the last race. I kind of knew I didn't have to battle Thomas for the win. I don't think I had to do it for the championship, so yeah, it was kind of, if he was going to make a big mistake, I just wanted to be there, but wasn't going to challenge him in a way that could make my race going south. So yeah, I feel like I kind of have this track pretty nailed now. So yeah,
That's understandable. It is a good track and car combination. Obviously, as I mentioned, so many wins to your name this season. Which has been your favourite?
I don't remember what races I have won. I think
so. You've won. You won race 1 at Spa, Sebring, Red Bull Ring, Mid Ohio, and yeah, that's all. And obviously, of course, today, Knockhill.
yeah, I think the one I remember the best was at Spa. Under fueled and I think I had the 2 liters under fueled, so had to save a lot in the race and got past and just saved for a lot of laps and managed to get in front by the end. So that's the one I felt like, yeah, most proud of. Not so proud of under fueling, but
hey, it happens to the best of us, doesn't it? It's one of those things. Before we let you go, Roger, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to at all?
yeah, I got to give a huge thanks to you guys in the commentary booth and to the broadcast, and to the guys at Apex Racing League for organizing the league. And yeah, it's been a great season. These leagues are always a joy to attend. So of course you guys and RPC Esports and my girlfriend Lisa. I think that's the most important people.
Yes, yeah, better make sure you don't forget your girlfriend because you'll be in trouble afterwards if you had forgotten her. So that's well remembered there. Yep, congratulations on, well, not just your victory tonight, but all of them. That's Roger Christensen of RPEC Esports.
Thank you.
Well, DJ, what a season it has been. So many highs, lows, dramas. We've always had race to bring the action, regardless of what track we were at. What's been your favourite moment from the season?
I have to say, seeing these cars fling around Barber was a high point for me. I think also just literally almost every race too, Tim. It seems like we would just get absolutely fantastic action each time across.
You're not wrong there. It was literally like, it was all, it's trying, size each other up, work things out in race one, and then race two, gloves were off, everyone went for it, and wow, it was no different here tonight. And what a season finale it's been from Knockhill. And well, if it's not enough action for you, coming up on the channel, it's a bit of a hiatus, of course, during week 13 here on iRacing, so the end of the season. Next broadcast coming up on the channel is on Sunday evening, well, Sunday afternoon. It starts off it will be a quadruple header on Sunday. We've got the Championship Motorsports iRacing Team Endurance Series from Le Mans. Make sure you tune in for that one from 2:45 GMT. Then at 7:30, it is the Ray Esports runoffs. So make sure you tune in for that one, definitely. And then we've got the XSLR Championship. I'll be back in the commentary booth for that one at 1 a.m. GMT. And then at 2 a.m., I'll be also in the commentary booth for the Colorado Karting Tour as we head to Virginia International Raceway. Wow, what a season it's been. After a slight delay, we ran a week behind, but it was well worth the wait. So much drama, so much excitement, so many memorable moments. And it's been an absolute honour to commentate on it. I've been Tim Cox with DJ Clark and Alex Simpson in the production booth. Thank you very much, and wherever you are, have a great evening.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers, including Peter Berryman, John Robertson, Brandon Trano, and IndyCar World Champion Alex Palou. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.